Welcome to the Tucson Tasty Show. I'm your host, Wesley Source, the tastiest radio show in Tucson. I'm here with Pastor John McLean of Common Good Media Group, Common Good Radio Show, Veteran Rescue Mission.
Yes, sir.
How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. That is a nice big up. I like that. I feel important, and that's all I need. Thank you.
And we have a very special guest here in the studio with us today. We have Sean Smiley of ERCJunction.com.
Yeah,
ERC Junction.
And the name fits for sure. Absolutely.
Yep, he's always smiling.
Yeah, he is. He's one of the happiest guys I know, for sure.
I get it. Yep. No, yeah, that's why I have him back at the studio as often as possible as well.
That makes sense.
You know?
That makes sense.
And we have Glenn and Sally of The Cork. Now, this is one of the iconic, John, restaurants in Tucson. It's been around since 1966. 66.
That was a good year.
And it was, I literally grew up down the street from, it used to be Jonathan's Cork, and it's been renamed the Cork. And this was the prestigious, when my parents said, hey, we're going to go to the Cork, this was the place, or Jonathan's Cork. You know, it was wow. Am I allowed to go with?
And they wouldn't let you go, would they?
No, they didn't. But I have been many times, and I'm super excited to have them here today. In fact, because they're here with such an incredible spread, we're going to do things a little differently.
Let's mix it up.
We're going to do John's Tasty Bites first. In fact, it's my favorite part of the show, and we're skipping ahead a little bit, but the place to expand your culinary horizons. And Glenn, tell us a little bit about what you have.
Today we brought in, it's actually our Wednesday happy hour special. That's actually, it's not a happy hour special, it runs through the day. It's a green chili pork stew. That's a very traditional, actually it's Jonathan's old recipe, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah, we tweaked it a little, we use Hatch chilies now.
Okay.
It's very popular, a little bit spicy. Lollipop lamb chops, this is a happy hour special. They're Australian lamb chops cooked medium rare, served on mashed potato with a kind of a play on an old English mint vinaigrette. We've emulsified it a bit, made it a bit thicker. It's delicious. They're very popular. And you'll probably notice these tiny shrimp here. They're U10
They look more
wild
like
caught.
prawns,
Yeah,
actually.
well, yeah. U10 wild caught Mexican shrimp out of Guaymas. They are huge. You get 4 to a serve. And it's crazy because I've never seen people eat shrimp cocktail with a knife and fork before. But a lot of the times at the restaurant, people take them out because they're so big.
Yeah, you can't just eat one bite. I mean, you have to, that is you guys have to check this out on the YouTube channel. It's The Tasty Show 520. Super excited, and we're gonna get some more pictures of that. But
yeah, that's like at least 3 or 4 bites to eat each one of those shrimp.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna have shrimp cocktail, might as well do it up big.
Yeah.
And these, so there's 4 now. There used to be 5, but it is so much more meat. For the same price.
Oh, yeah.
So we haven't changed much. The new happy hour menu is really the one thing that we've changed since taking over in late March. So, and it is Australian lamb.
It is Australian lamb.
This is one thing that we like to emphasize because as an American, I never liked lamb.
Right. Well, the Australian lamb actually is a very different taste, flavor, and everything. And it's actually what I go to get because my wife's family is Greek.
Oh, right.
And
huge lamb eaters.
Grandma, you have to get the Australian lamb, otherwise it's not right.
Lamb, either Australian or New Zealand. It's a total. It's what they eat. You know, and it's a certain way of the way they're killed. Which is not a great thing to talk about on radio, but it's
humanely, of course.
Not going.
Of old age in their bed, reading them a bedtime story.
Yeah, they fall asleep and never wake up.
That sounds like the Italians with the veal, you know.
Right. Yeah, it's not like that.
No,
Unfortunately, they've found more humane ways of doing veal now, which is great. But The lamb's not gamey at all. It's very tender, delicious.
Nice.
It's very, very popular item.
Fair enough. Well,
That's cool.
should we taste?
You guys dig in.
All right.
I think
it
so.
is the
I don't
tasty
even,
show,
I don't even know
right?
where to start. And and I may
Thank you,
say,
Sean.
being the pretend food critic that has the palate of an 8-year-old, this is definitely the fanciest dish we've had in the studio yet.
Wow.
Yeah, and we've had some nice restaurants. We've had some great chefs in the studio, but
Grilled
you
lemonade
guys,
was pretty
you
great.
guys pulled out all the stops
Well,
on this one for sure.
That's what we try and do at the
Yeah.
Cork.
I can definitely tell just from this that when I do go to your restaurant, I'm gonna be knocked off my feet. So that's super cool.
Well, that is a lime crema
Okay.
drizzled on the top to go play off the pork taste.
Okay.
And then some cilantro just makes it so southwestern. So we're basically a southwestern seafood and steakhouse. And so everything we do has a little bit of a southwestern flair. And I know that Wesley met us when we were doing the culinary event before the
Iron Chef of Tucson.
competition, and he loved this dish.
I came back for seconds. I didn't know if I was allowed, but I was like, "Hey, can I get a little bit more of that, please?"
It's funny. We did nearly 900 serves of that in an hour and a half.
Wow.
It was crazy.
And we ran out.
And we ran out, unfortunately, but it was very popular.
I can see why.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Okay.
Thank
so,
you.
Right? I mean, it just.
So I'm gonna try the bite, and I'm gonna try to
All right.
give the listening audience the full experience, and then I'm gonna give my 3rd grade level review of it after I take a bite. And tell me what this dish is that I'm taking a nibble out of right now.
This is the green chili pork.
Green chili pork. Okay. Enjoy this, America.
John slowly takes the fork up to his mouth. His eyes have glazed over. Okay. Well.
I think we should leave that alone.
Yes.
Well, it has a tenderness to it. It just it literally like a marshmallow just melted in my mouth. The taste, it has like a very unique taste to it, but it's rich yet it's savory. It has almost a little sweetness to it. I don't know what that is.
That's probably the crema as well.
Well, it sounded a little bit like,
Never mind.
not Harry met Sally, but John met Sally.
Yeah, for sure. We're in love. We're in love. Yeah, if you guys can leave us alone, I'd really appreciate it.
Nightingale sang in Barclays Square.
All right, we want to try some of these other tasty bites
Absolutely.
I see around there. Yep.
So again, we have the Australian lamb chops with. Those are just mashed potatoes.
It's
or
served on
the-
mashed potato, yeah.
Okay.
And the good thing about lamb chops is they come with their own handle, so you just pick them up and
We call
Go
these
for it.
the lollipop lamb chops on the happy hour menu. And like Glenn said, it's a mint sauce. It's sort of a play on an old English.
sauce, yeah, which
Mint
is a
vinegar.
vinaigrette basically, but
Yeah.
we
Ooh.
emulsified it and
Whoa.
gives it a bit of tang. It's a very English or Australian way of serving lamb. I hear some chewing over there.
So the sauce is really amazing. I mean, it's
me
a
try
subtle,
Try
subtle. Okay.
Get your own.
I'm going in for a
lollipop.
lamb chop.
Get your own lollipop.
He's going
And it's
in.
interesting that these are called lollipop lamb chops because again, a little bit sweet.
Yep.
A little bit sweet.
I'm
to
not
them.
sure that's where that came from, but
Uh-huh.
I think it's because they come with a handle. But
Okay.
I do like that approach to it.
Yeah, and it's just again just melts in the mouth. I am, even though I am an American, and Mary had a little lamb, and we were taught not to eat Mary's little lamb. And I do have a
Right.
daughter named Mary, so that kind of even would tie in on top of it. But nonetheless, I love lamb, and
Yeah.
and this is it's great.
Well,
yeah.
being an Australian, they say that Australia was raised on the lamb's back because there's something like 200 million lamb sheep in Australia, and there's only 25 million people, and it's as big as the whole US. So I grew up eating lamb. It's a staple. In fact, there's a huge campaign around Australia Day in Australia about eating Aussie lamb, and it's a very funny series of commercials. If you ever get a chance to have a look at that on YouTube, it
Interesting.
is hilarious.
Right.
Yeah, I was looking at something recently, a meme or something that was showing like a majority of the population of Australia live in like just a small area of the
Yeah.
whole entire continent.
We live on the
Coast.
coast. It's all
Yeah.
on the coast. I mean, why
Interesting.
wouldn't you? We're a huge island, and So therefore, our seafood is spectacular. Most of our beef and cattle and pork is raised, not so much the pork, but raised grass-fed. So it's very clean. It's a beautiful country. In fact, we're a bit jet lagged. We got back 2 days ago from Australia, which we enjoyed, and we sampled some really good stuff down there. We're going to bring some of those things to the Cork as we move along. Not massive changes at all. But one of the things that we are doing at the Cork is all of our seafood is wild-caught, sustainable seafood, which is a change I've made because I'm very precious about the oceans. As I was quoted once recently in an article, I'm also into deep sea ocean photography, which I didn't know about. Interesting. Some sort of misquote. But
can't talk. I'm eating. I'm sorry.
Go for it. There's plenty there.
Well, we still haven't got to those shrimp yet, so won't you slide that this way for John to do his last tasty bite before we go to the next segment, because we got about another 30 seconds before we get out of here, and you have to stop eating so I can enjoy this.
Yes,
and you got to do the close.
Absolutely. How is it?
No knives and forks.
No knives and forks. He's going all American with his fingers.
Oh, that's good. That's a good shrimp. And I got 3 more bites out of this one shrimp still to go.
So generous on all the portions, and those shrimps are huge.
Delicious.
I'm Wesley Source, host of the Tucson Tasty Show. We'll be right back with Glenn Murphy and Sally Murphy, owners of the Cork, located in Wilmot and Pima. Here's some more from our sponsors: Bellows Gelato, Pitcher Rock Heating and Cooling, and so many more. Thank you so much, and we'll be right back.
You butchered that.
I did. Welcome back to the Tucson Tasty Show. I'm your host, Wesley Source, with Pastor John McLean, and we're here with Stacy, Sally, and Glenn Murphy, the owners of the Cork.
She'd make a good Stacy too.
Yeah, Stacy's not bad.
I had a best friend in elementary school named Stacy.
Okay.
We also have in studio with us today Sean Smiley of ercjunction.com.
Yes. Thanks for inviting me. Glad to be here.
Yeah, you enjoying that shrimp?
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I don't know how much talking you're going to do for the rest of the show. I think you're just going to eat.
Well, I have a question. So the name of the restaurant's the Cork. I thought we were going to have a nice Cabernet or something here today.
Don't threaten me with a good time. We're just about to change our wine list, so you're welcome to come and do some samples with me.
Fantastic.
Absolutely.
And officially, our name is the Cork Tucson, but because it's been iterations of the Cork, since originally it was the Cork and Cleaver, then it was the Tucson Cork,
right?
Then it was Jonathan's Tucson Cork,
right?
And now it's the Cork Tucson.
The Cork Tucson.
Just
the owners of the Cork Tucson, everybody.
Nice.
Here they are.
Nice.
Thank you so much for those bites, and we ate our way through that break. And now we've got to actually talk to you about a few things, and just had a couple questions for you. Now let's get serious, right? No,
serious
I'm kidding.
faces.
And I gotta say thank you, or special thanks to our sponsors: Kiki Roger with Country Financial Insurance, Vera Earl Premium Beef, that is vepremiumbeef.com, ERC Junction, Veteran Rescue Mission, Pitcher Rock Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing, and Jason with Cool View Glass Treatments, as well as Elizabeth with Bella's Gelato. Super excited that everybody's having so much fun with the show, and I can't wait to so many more shows. So
yeah, and it's a little frustrating to me how popular your show is becoming so quickly, because I worked really hard on my radio show to become popular, and it's not fun seeing you come up on my heels so easily.
I haven't slept in 4 months.
Okay, good. Now I'm okay with that, because I sleep perfect.
I'm doing double time just to try to keep everything together. I think. No,
fair
I'm
enough.
kidding.
Yeah.
But
I think it's because of the co-host you have.
Yeah, that may be it.
Absolutely,
your business-
100%.
business
With the
coach.
support. He's an amazing mentor, an amazing coach, and you're right. He actually has pulled me back from the edge a few times. I wanted to have a circus going during the radio show at one point. I'm completely kidding, but
There was a few ideas in that vein, but I just try to shower you with positivity and,
You do.
and steer you in a direction of productivity.
Thank you. Thank you.
Can you come to the Cork Tucson?
Absolutely.
So you've recently rebranded the Cork Tucson, and you've actually you've been going around town. You're making your rounds quite a bit, and you have plenty of spots, which is really exciting to see because seeing the Cork come back to life and having that energy put back into it is really great.
Yes.
And as you told us in the last segment, you're staying true to your loyal customers.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
so tell us a little bit more about that. How are you going to do that with this amazing menu that you have?
You know, it's pretty easy because it's not broken. It's the old adage, you know, if it's not, what is it?
If it ain't broke,
if it ain't,
don't fix it.
It's hard for an Australian to come up with that sort of
Yeah, those idioms, those American idioms get you every time. Yeah.
strange language. But, you know, all we're doing, in fact, we're using a lot of Jonathan's recipes. We're tweaking some things. We've upped our grade of meat, so we're using really good quality meats, sustainable seafood, really fresh produce, and we're not messing with you. When you've got a restaurant that the number one selling item on the menu is sautéed shrimp, sautéed mushrooms.
Right.
Why would you change it?
That's a good point. Yeah, no, you like sautéed mushrooms on top of your
do.
steak? I mean, all I'm thinking about now, you're making me hungry again, and you just fed me.
Well, that's my job.
Yeah.
But Wesley, honestly, people order these just as a starter.
Right.
Not even to put on anything.
Wow.
These sautéed mushrooms, go ahead and tell them.
It's a boat full of sautéed mushrooms. I don't know if you know what a boat is, but it's a small dish. But, there's like 30 mushrooms in there that have been sautéed in red wine. And
Absolutely.
And
every
butter,
time I've
just
been
a little
in
bit of butter.
to the Cork, I have gotten sautéed mushrooms. So yes, absolutely. That's exciting. Very exciting. You've been quoted saying that. We've already talked about that. You've been quoted saying that actually that you're going to stay true to the loyal customers, which is awesome. And then,
What's on the horizons for you guys?
Well, we're doing a bit of a revamp on the menu coming up, and we're adding a large bone-in pork chop, which is really needed on the menu because the only real pork we have on the menu is the Wednesday happy hour, which you're eating right now.
right,
And we're doing
the slow cooked,
it is slow cooked, exactly.
tender, melt in your mouth.
We're known for game as well. So we're going to do a game sampler, and believe it or not, we're going to put kangaroo on there, which is very, very common in Australia.
Kangaroo.
It's not gamey. It's like a very good quality filet mignon.
Okay.
Really?
So
Okay.
yeah, it's very, very.
Interesting.
It's tender. It's got to be served medium rare. If you go over that, it will tighten right up.
You're just teaching us so much today, man. We could just have you on
Wow.
every single week, just kind of
That's
like.
incredible.
If I'm teaching you, there's a problem.
We got a problem, my friend.
No, Glenn plays down his culinary skills. He
And his
first went into
culture.
a commercial kitchen at 15.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Interesting.
Okay.
Which is just yesterday. Not really.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I could tell. Yeah.
Yeah, I've kind of been doing this a very long time, but we're super proud of the Cork. It's kind of like our living room. A lot of the regulars have become very good friends. It's one of those places that it feels like it fits like an old glove. You know, you walk in there and you're like, this makes sense to me. And
Right.
I'm not really an old school kind of guy. I'm more in nouveau cuisine, but this is just so comfortable. And I think people
I have
love it.
so
for
many
that.
more questions for you.
Yeah.
I really do. I don't know if we
I
have enough
bet.
time.
Well, let's wait till next time we have them on the show.
there we go.
And let's have you tell our listeners where you're located at,
Yes.
how they can get a hold of you, and and what to expect.
Well, we are located where Pima hits Wilmot, where it turns into Tancaverde. We're behind the Jimmy John's. I
Okay.
don't know. Is that a free plug for
Yes,
Jimmy
yes.
John's?
Kind of a weird way of
Well, we'll call
describing
them.
it.
We'll get the paycheck from them. Don't worry about it.
But we have a new sign coming next week after a monsoon
next week.
tore
Yeah.
off our old sign.
Exciting.
So look for the Cork Tucson on the side of the road on Wilmot, where Pima hits Wilmot.
It's taken
can't wait to
nearly
see it.
5 months to get it done, but it's
Yeah.
arriving next week, thank God.
It'll be worth
Congratulations.
Yeah.
it. Awesome. And then a phone number that they can get a hold of, just in case they have a hard time following you.
Oh, that's
We
one
don't
that you
call
you
ourselves
know.
Pastor
Okay.
John.
What about website?
We have a new website.
Okay.
corktucson.com, and we're on Instagram and we're on Facebook.
Yes, you are.
We're hard to miss.
Awesome.
Yep. I'm following them everywhere as well.
The Cork Tucson, and yeah, definitely. If you're in there, I would ask to talk to them. They're very pleasant people. You guys are some of the most charming people we've had in the studio. So I appreciate your presence. We definitely have to hang out more. Have you in more for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Thank you for joining us.
We're available.
Do you do much with carryout?
A little bit, yeah.
Because I'm coming by after the show to pick up one or two or three of those to take home tonight.
Yeah, and the Meatloaf Monday is very popular for that too.
Okay.
So,
yeah. And we'll turn the hot light on you real quick, Sean, just because I definitely have some questions about employee retention credit and how that works, and particularly with the employee, how does ERC Junction help small businesses?
So we're based here in Tucson. We help clients nationwide. We've helped several hundred Tucson-based businesses.
Oh, wow.
Number one, determine if they qualify, and then maximize that refund. We were talking before the show. You were saying you thought maybe you didn't qualify?
Yeah.
And why who's told you that, or what'd you hear?
My very bad understanding of what it is. Sorry, it's hard to talk with a mouthful of shrimp.
Yeah, it's so delicious.
Because it's a new company, even though we have lots of other companies, this is a new company that owns the Tucson Cork. So I figured during the pandemic I didn't have anyone to retain because I didn't own that business, therefore I wasn't qualified. Hopefully I'm wrong.
Well, if you owned other businesses, we can certainly look at that. One of the things we do is we'll evaluate it. If you don't qualify, there's no cost. And we offer that to any business.
Well, real quick, give an assessment
cool.
of like what is like your traditional qualifying organization look like? What does that look like?
So there are four primary ways to qualify. Very quickly, it's they do something called a gross receipts test.
Okay.
So if their revenue declined by the requisite percentage, we can get into those details another time. The second way is if there were government mandates that restricted how you traditionally did business. So restaurants, for example, had to be shut down for 6 weeks, carry out only, and then at 50% capacity.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
These are kind of mutually exclusive, so you don't have to do all of these. It's just hit any one of them. If you had a problem with supply chain, so if you couldn't get product due to the pandemic, if your suppliers were shut down, and then new businesses, so anybody after February 15th of 2020 may also qualify.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
And how can people get a hold of you if they're interested in checking out what you do?
Best way is to call me, 520-576-3524.
Say it one more time.
520-576-3524. Or email Sean, that's SEAN, at ercjunction.com.
And that's ercjunction.com.
Awesome.
Well, thank you so much for coming into the studio today. This is the Tucson Tasty Show. A special thank you to our guests, Sean of ERC Junction, Glenn, Sally Murphy, the owners of the Cork Tucson, Kiki Rogers, Country Financial Insurance, Vera Earl Premium Beef, that's vepremiumbeef.com, Veteran Rescue Mission, Pitcher Rock Cooling, Heating and Plumbing, Cool View, and Bella's Gelato. I'm your host, Wesley Source. Stay tasty, Tucson, and we have a little more time, don't we?
Yeah, so y'all stay mayonnaise and mustard, and we'll catch up.